Hello and welcome everyone to another season of Sport Fishing Championship. We're kicking off the 2026 season here at the Key West Classic, presented by Salty Dogs. Beautiful day, a great day to kick off the 26th season. The chase for the Zane Grey Championship playoff starts today, the first of 12 events this year, and will culminate with one champion who will take home the Zane Grey Championship trophy in October in Cabo San Lucas. Welcome everyone inside our new studios to us. Robbie Floyd along with my partner now for the 5th year in a row, Peter Miller. I'm looking at your stats. If I pull up Peter Miller on there, I've seen you've won millions of dollars, World Sailfish Championships. But you know what? You're my friend, and we get to talk about fishing all day.
That's the best part. You know, that stuff, we did it, and now here we are doing new things, which I really enjoy pontificating, talking about these great teams that are out there crushing it all over, from South and Central America to the Gulf, to the Atlantic, to the Florida Straits.
Yeah, it's all over, and a lot of teams to talk about, some new teams to talk about, some definitely some new things are concerned as far as Atlantic and Gulf divisions. When you look at the Atlantic divisions, yeah, some names I'm not familiar with coming into 2026. How about you?
Well, it's pretty exciting to be adding teams. You know, you see how this is taking off and how it's taken off, because a lot of people say, what is this league? What is it about? It's growing in leaps and bounds in exponential form.
More partners with the South Florida Sails, but when you look at the first team we're going to talk about, the Lights Out Boston, I mean, there's your defending champions in the Atlantic Division. Man, they were just on fire the back half of the season. Kind of stumbled a little bit at the Zane Grey.
You know, it's tricky. I fished with them during the Zane Grey for when I got there a little early, and we caught 20 striped marlin in a very short amount of time. Their team is dialed in. They're quick, they're accurate, they're precise, and they raise a lot of fish.
Definitely a team to look for, Lights Out Boston, but they're not the only team in the Atlantic to look for. How about a new team, the Rhode Island Breakers? Captain John Bowen and company making their SFC debut. And this team, they know how to catch them. When I talked to them a couple of weeks back, I mean, you've got a guy on board that's caught a grander. You've got a man on board that has won the White Marlin Open. Now they're trying to win the SFC.
Those are some pretty serious accolades. They're in the 66 Blackwell, and they've got a strong team. They go out to those big tuna grounds, and that's where the giant marlin live. So they get both worlds right there in one spot.
I think I was getting my team screwed up because this is the one I was thinking about that had those accolades of South Florida Sails. All right, check the box. I've already screwed up first thing this year. The Breakers and the Sails, some new talent they're going to be seeing this season.
Yeah, and the nice thing about the South Florida Sails, hey, Robbie, I'm from South Florida. We catch a lot of sailfish there. It's a great name. Love the name. Love the gear. We've got Ben Simmons from the NBA, one of the owners. 60-foot Spencer. This platform is stacked. They are ready to rock. They are already catching fish.
And you see Ben Simmons, controlling owner for that team. They are catching fish this morning. It's our first of 3 days. They put in the water this morning. We had a shotgun start, and they will be pulling things out later on this afternoon. We've looked at the Atlantic teams. Now let's talk about the Gulf teams too, because again, whether there's 6 or 7 teams in your division, you've got to finish in the top 2 to move on to the Zane Grey.
And that's a really big deal. You want to make it there. You want to get to Cabo. It's very important. So you've got to fight hard, and hopefully the fish don't fight too hard.
Louisiana Canyons, first team we're going to talk about. Now, we've seen the Louisiana Canyons before, but this was last year's Mississippi Blues team on the Louisiana Canyons. It's like football and getting a new quarterback. I mean, Toby Berthelot, Jason Berthelot, they're on board the Louisiana team. It only makes sense for them.
And don't forget, they just came off a giant win in Cabo, catching a 457-pound blue marlin worth $1.7 million. So our teams don't only compete here, they compete all over the world, and they do incredible work. That Jason is a force to be reckoned with.
The 2025 SFC runners-up, the Gulf Division champions. This was the team to beat in the Gulf. They clinched early, but a new team aboard the Renegades this year, but familiar faces. We've seen the Magnifico before.
Oh, the Magnifico and Garrett there running that team, and you've got Captain Drake at the helm. They've put together quite a program, and they are catching fish left and right. He's got his son there angling, and it's a family affair. They're having fun, but they're on a professional level with family. That's not very often seen, and you gotta love it.
Another team representing Texas, a lot of Texans aboard the Third Coast Renegades. How about the Texas team? Texas Lone Stars, the defending champions of SFC. Didn't win an event, a regular season event last year, but they won the Super Bowl. They won in Cabo.
It's that consistency, Robbie. We talk about it every time. They're always on the fish. They're always getting bites, and they capitalize on those bites. To be able to get 2 Grand Slams in one tournament, that's absolutely incredible. And they even scuffed their boat a little bit with that marlin hitting the side, but it buffed out.
Everybody trying to make it to the Zane Grey Championship playoff. That's going to be in October at Cabo San Lucas. We were holding off. We were going to fish last year, but I think we know that already this season. Peter, first and foremost, we've got one of 11 regular season events plus the championship. Who's going to take the first event? Because here in Key West, let's talk about Key West. It is a different fishery for a lot of these teams that aren't used to fishing this style.
You're right. I've spent a lot of time down in Key West. I started fishing there probably in 2000. Here we are in 225. So 25 years of experience down there. And it's a very different fishery than you would see in South Florida. We've got a current in South Florida that runs, from the north to the south, and a fish swim from the north to the south. And we have the Gulf Stream that's running to the north. And then down in the Key West, you've got an east and west current because you turn that corner. Same current, it's just a different angle, and you call it east and west current. That's a very unique thing. And then you have to find the right bait because they key in on a particular type of bait. And if you don't have it, you may not catch.
Yeah, and then kites, we haven't even talked about that. We'll get into it. We've got a lot more ahead today, both on YouTube and ESPN Plus. We're glad you could be a part of it, but also being a part of the fishing action. We're bringing fishing to the masses. And if I show up, say, in Key West, and I want to go fishing, who do I go to? Well, I'll tell you who to go to. Well, never mind. I'll show you who to go to.
Hey guys, Dean Pazin with Salty Dog Charters down here in Key West, Florida. Basically how Salty Dogs all started was growing up in Pompano, grew up washing boats, cleaning boat bottoms. Anyway, we could figure out a way to get on the water. It led from that to us catching bait and fishing on the weekends till we found a way that we could fish full-time, fish for a living. Started working on private boats, and then from there I got my first boat and we started doing charter fishing and a little bit of commercial fishing. Fishing's our passion, and that's like what our whole company is all about, is all things ocean. Just everyone could be a salty dog. Friends, family, everyone that shares the same passion as us. We love it, man. Down here in Key West, Florida, it's just an amazing fishery. There's just endless options of things to do. I can have a customer walk up and say, hey man, I really want to go bottom fishing. Okay, you try to look for some yellowtails, some muttons, not a problem. We go out there and always have a good shot on catching some really nice muttons and yellowtails, may have a shot at some black grouper. We can go wreck fishing. Sometimes I get a lot of bucket lists, like they really want to catch a sailfish. Okay, you ever been kite fishing before? No, all right, let's go out there and give it a try. So we do nighttime fishing, snapper fishing, springtime, the tarpon are starting to show up. So if there's a bucket fish, my goal is try to see if I could fulfill someone's dream and catch them the trophy they've been after all their lives. Pretty exciting stuff going on right now. It's our first annual Salty Dogs Key West Rodeo. It's a meat fish tournament. It'll be the 5 species, dolphin, wahoo, cobia, tuna, kingfish. You're allowed to weigh up to 10 fish, 4 fish per aggregate. It's just a really good way to bring the whole community, charter boats, weekend warriors, everyone can fish it. I got the smallest boat right now is a 25 contender to a 61 Viking. Something that everyone can be part of, and there's all types of different ways to win and fun Calcuttas. It's just going to be a really good time right here at Key West. We're really excited. Love to take you guys fishing down here in Key West, Florida. If you'd like to come fishing, you can find us on our website or see us here at A&B Dock. Let's get tight.
Not going to lie, it makes me want to go out there on the waters. I don't have that opportunity, but you do out there in the television world. Peter, let's break down the tournament details here, because I know they're restricted to a 50-mile boundary. So from top to bottom, it's 100 miles, but you don't really even need to go 50 miles out from port, do you?
Well, the key is you really have to find the good water. You've got to find that current. When you find the current, you're going to find the fish. And if there's no current, then you're going to start using different techniques. Maybe you're going to go into the sand 20, 30 feet, and you're going to look for those sailfish swimming up on the sand, and you're going to be throwing baits to those fish.
So again, the shotgun start this morning was at 8 o'clock. They will have to have their lines out of the water at 5 o'clock. So again, it's a long day of fishing. We see on our tally board that they are catching fish this morning, and we know another guy who's inputting some of those fish. It's our man on the scene, Scoops McGillicuddy, Rudy Tamarchio. Good to have you back, my friend, and we're in a studio once again, and you're out there in paradise, bud.
Good to be back, and also a little bit of upgrade on my side too, because look at this teak deck that I got going through. Super happy to have it. But yes, inputting the fish is definitely one thing I'm not going to be doing. I'm just going to watch it live while it's happening. Lots of changes in 2026, like you guys talked about. It's not drinking through a fire hose. It's drinking straight from the fire extinguisher, straight from the hydrant itself. Let's talk about these rule changes real quick. So first one, there is a live challenge that's available for every single team. They have them available once per tournament. If this seems like a new concept to you, think of it like the challenge flag in football. Instead of going to like the AC replay center that you have in college football, it's going straight to our control rooms back there in Texas. That fits into the second point that's in our rules changes. That's to the rules official. There is a third-party independent official that'll be reviewing every single challenge that's coming through. They're actually reviewing every single release in real time while we're on the air. So if there's anything that they see that may not be proper, there's a rod in the rod holder for a little too long while they're fighting. If the rod isn't passed in the first minute, they're tracking all of that at the same time. And then on the third end is the Grand Slam bonus. For those of you who followed us last year, you can think of the Pensacola Billfish Classic. The Texas Lone Stars had multiple Grand Slams. It's worth 200 points if you hit a Billfish Grand Slam. That's having 3 of the different species in the same tournament. It's available once per angling club per tournament. It's a good 200-point boost, and it's going to help you get to victory.
Rudy, we are absolutely excited. We're giddy over these new rules changes because it allows for so many different things to happen. And, you know, you're sitting there in Key West. We're in the studio here, obviously. What are we seeing when it comes to Grand Slam bonuses? Do you think there's a shot? Is the bite happening right now, or is it mainly sailfish?
This is primarily a sailfish tournament, so I don't think you're going to be seeing much of an opportunity for a Grand Slam this weekend. If it does happen, we're going to not stop talking about it, because just to go back about billfish species, for those of us who are new to the SFC broadcast, we're talking about blue marlin, white marlin, sailfish, particularly here in North America. And we get to Zingray in October, you're looking at black marlin and Pacific sailfish. So I don't think there's much of a chance of seeing all 3 of those species this weekend, but it'd be nice to have.
I think it's going to be something to look for, not only this weekend, but throughout the year. Rudy, thanks a lot, bud. We're going to talk to you in our ESPN hour as well. But, again, keep roughing it, bud. Keep roughing it.
Someone's got to do it.
Are you live?
All right, Rudy Tamarcio, always on the scene, a familiar face, now a new face. We're going to talk about Chloe Turner. She's going to be with us this year, especially with some of these early events. Some of you may be familiar with her, and she knows her stuff when it comes to the weather conditions. Brought to you by Brightwild.
Thanks, Robbie. I'm so excited to be part of the SFC team this year and to bring you all a live look at the conditions each week. Because when you're fishing at this level, everything truly can come down to the conditions. Now, it's already been a beautiful day in Key West with sunny skies and temperatures reaching up to 81 degrees. And for sail fishing, that wind is everything. And for this tournament, it is really going to play a major role in the strategy of these teams. Now, ideally, these guys are going to be looking for winds in that 15 to 25 knot range. And this is going to allow them to be able to fly those kites effectively and to be able to spread their baits naturally, covering more water. Now, if that wind is not there, they're going to have to adjust that strategy, and they do this by switching to helium-based balloons to keep those baits above the surface. Now, as we take a look at our live wind map, you can see that we're looking offshore at a northeast wind with wind speeds holding up at 10 to 14 knots. But already you can see that it's even moving towards 16 knots as we move more offshore. So this is really shaping up to be a solid setup for kite fishing today. And that consistency is key because it allows these teams to stay dialed in with that kite presentation. Now, as we move on to another major key element that our captains are going to be paying attention to, as I move and pull up our tide chart, as you can see, that high tide was at 10:05 a.m. and then it's set to drop at a low tide at 4:39 p.m. Now, a strong, steady current is going to help push these bait through that area and create ideal fishing opportunities. But as that tide changes and the current slacks, that bite can slow down right along with it. So timing is truly everything for these teams. And one of the biggest things that they are searching for out there is that clean blue water. Now, that color change along the reef, where the water shifts from green to deep blue, is where that bait tends to stack up and where you're more likely going to be able to find more active feeding fish. So when you combine the right wind, the right current, and find the edge of that blue water, this is when everything truly comes together. And that is exactly what these teams are going to be chasing today. Robbie, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Chloe, and look forward to seeing her throughout the season. Looking at the Atlantic Division, nobody hooked up right now. We see people on the move, but I promise you, oh, there's somebody maybe hooked up. Is that Jacelyn in the Gulf?
Nice watch. Citizen?
Yeah, Eco Drive. It's powered by light.
Like any light?
Yep.
Headlights?
Yeah.
Sunlight?
Yeah.
What about city lights?
Definitely.
Subway? Neon? Strobe light?
Those two.
Really?
Yeah.
Disco? Underwater?
Yeah.
This light? Spotlight? 10,000 spotlight!
Yeah, any light.
Cool.
Citizen Eco Drive. It is cool. Powered by light for 50 years.
There's yellowfish.
When the ocean calls, only the bold answer. Out here, it's not about cameras, contracts, or crowds. It's about the fight. When the battle begins, you need a boat that's as relentless as you are.
Nice work, Bill. Jill Paglia, boat number 1, executive decision, day 1.
HCB Yachts, the ultimate sport fishing experience. We deliver the dream.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families.
Salty Dogs. By Citizen, official timing partner of SFC. By One Water.
As your threadfin herring, you want your sardines, pilchards, cigar minnows. You want to be able to throw anything, and sometimes they key on a specific bait, and that is the bait you must have to win these tournaments. Next, you've got technique and presentation. Crush them down in the Keys. They'll catch 20, while a kite fishing boat may only catch 3 that day. So different techniques, different days, different baits. And then lastly, type of vessel. You know, when their fish are tailing in those conditions, it's really nice to be in the tower, to be able to look down, see the fish, and be able to cast to them. If you're in a center console, you may not see them as easily. However, if you're in a center console, you have a 360 view, so all of the anglers, the captains, mates, everybody's looking everywhere, as opposed to a big sport fish where you're kind of looking at the back. You know, you have a 360 view on the smaller boats, and sometimes that could be a game changer. So I hope this helps, and these keys to success are a really big deal, and that will take you to the winner's circle.
Those Remax keys to success. All you got to do is follow that, and you will maybe take the title here at the first event of 2026. We're looking live out on the water, the Atlantic Division, Gulf Division tallies. That's your scoring down at the bottom, and I'm seeing Renegades with the lead, and I'm seeing the South Florida Sails on top in the Atlantic Division, Peter. I love seeing these catches and a multitude of catches as well. Some teams with a blank so far.
And when you're fishing in the Keys, you can count on a whole host of a variety of fish. Right there, I think they might have had a mahi. You've got the blackfin tuna. You got sailfish. You got marlin, wahoo. You name it. You'll even have bottom fish come up and eat your baits once in a while.
Remember, as far as the scoring is concerned, blue marlin, if they were to catch one, a qualified catch would be worth 450 points. White marlin worth 100. And the sailfish, which we should see more of, we should see predominantly all sailfish, are worth 75. So that gives you those totals from the Renegades, with already 3 catches today.
You can see how they're all standing at attention, as always, not missing bites. You know, throwing baits out there, going out with the kites. The wind, you know, it's blowing a little bit. When you fly kites, you want to be, you know, at least 10 to 12 miles an hour. Helium conditions, once it drops about 10, 8, you know, that's when you start employing the helium, and you'll have the baits out there. You don't have to worry about the kite falling. That is a problem when you're out there fishing. And if it rains, the helium is key. You know, Robbie just came out with my new helium, Uncharted Waters helium. Are you ready for it? Party tanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Party on.
Yeah, we're going to party.
Earlier this morning, it was actually the first catch of the morning. South Florida Sails. Were they the first to hook up, Peter? The answer is yes.
Yes.
Who was it? All right, we're looking to pitch. Yep, there you go. Pitching out to that right side.
You see them motoring. It's almost like a trolling situation, or maybe they're bumping ahead because they probably saw a free jumper. That to me looks like they were going to put the baits out and they brought them in and they're chasing or trying to get in front of a free jumper and then casting to that, because they wouldn't be motoring otherwise.
Looks like they did slow down, right?
They're slowing down, making a little turn to try to cut off the fish on its path. Oh, look at that. That is perfect work. Look at that.
And it's still early. This is only about 22 minutes after they could have their lines in the water. So pick them up early. And you see other boats in the area. I see 3 just in this shot.
Right, and that goes to show you like what the different techniques are. You know, are you going to sit there with your kite the whole time? Do you see a free jumper? Do you reel it in and take everything in and go after the free jumper? Or you're like, you know, well, let's just keep our baits out. We'll probably get them. Well, a lot of times those who chase the free jumpers really start to stack the points. But that's a sailfish. You see it breaking the surface there, doing his thing on a spinner. Perfect. They're starting to back, it looks like.
How about a start for Ben Simmons now being owner of the South Florida Sails, his boat with the first one hooked up and be the first one with points in the 2026 season. He's actually listed as an angler on that boat. It'll be cool to see if he does get to handle the rod and reel.
Beautiful shot right there. Yeah, he loves his fishing. He's tore up with his fishing.
Yeah.
Probably, if not the same, more than most of the guys out there.
As they're backing that boat up, getting it closer, you do see other lines in the water. Look at the anglers to the right. Peter, you said every time, just because I've got this one on, there's other ones around there. I'm trying to get a multitude of fish.
Yeah, and usually in the morning, you got a little bit of jitters. You're kind of fired up, so you might race back on a fish. You know, they'll say the tortoise and the hare, slow and steady wins the race sometimes, but sometimes you just got to get that one fish under your belt and then redeploy.
Swinging around the left side, Captain Mike King piloting the quick sweep, a 60-foot Spencer.
It's like what I had last night, a quick sleep. Not a lot, not a lot. Beautiful boat. Out of Merritt Island, I believe.
They had a live well issue going into yesterday. They were able to reroute some of the plumbing, take it away from their gyro, but today I hear they have another pump in there, so now they've got gyro as well as that live well working. So jumping up close, but again, you see more lines in the water, Peter. You might not see them above to the surface, but there may be something down there. You've seen it so many times on your show.
Anytime you see a free jumper, I imagine that there's a pack of 10 swimming with it, and you're only seeing the tip of the iceberg. And that's what's exciting about sail fishing. They do swim in packs. And when you have a fish on like this, you want to be casting right on top of his head. Even if you go over top of the angler's line, you just do an over-under past the rod, and you just keep doing that the entire time. This fish is going ballistic. Almost like it's got one wrap around the bill. 8:22 in the morning, that's got to feel good. You know, you go down to Key West, you invest everything, you practice fish, you train, you get your baits, new tackle, new line and everything, new leaders. Everything you do has to be so perfect. And then to get these fish on the leader to the boat, I mean, it's just, you know, it's a ballet, which we just saw there. Running on a free jumper, spinning around, and then getting the bite within 20 seconds. That's what we talk about. Have the spinners, have conventionals, have kites. You never know what you're going to get the fish on. They got the leader. They got the 75 points. They're first on the board. Good job, Alex Stanley.
Hey, and you know the good part is it only took so long, Peter. When I went fishing with you, it took me 3 hours to get a fish like that.
I think it might take 8 hours.
Checking in on the Gulf, where you see the Third Coast Renegades with 225 points. A one-fish advantage over Louisiana Canyons right now. They're looking really, really strong, again, to kick off the season, picking up right where they left off last year. Again, this is the team just winning event after event after event. It took them all the way to Grand Isle before they were getting their first one last year, but followed that up with victories at Gulfport, Pensacola, Orange Beach. It's a team to deal with. Again, Renegades on top of the Gulf right now.
Welcome to Blue Marlin Jewelry, where island elegance meets handcrafted luxury now in the heart of Key West. Since 1996, we've been more than just a jewelry store. We've been a destination for those who seek something meaningful and rare. Inspired by the beauty of the Keys, every piece in our collection tells a story. Visit us in Old Town Key West or explore the collection at BlueMarlinJewelry.com. Blue Marlin Jewelry, crafted in the Keys, worn around the world.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
When the ocean calls, only the bold answer. Out here, it's not about cameras, contracts, or crowds. It's about the fight. When the battle begins, you need a boat that's as relentless as you are.
Nice work, Jill. Jill Paglia, boat number 1, executive decision, day 1.
HCB Yachts, the ultimate sport fishing experience. We deliver the dream.
To fish like the pros, you've got to look like the pros. Visit SFC Shop today to represent your favorite angling club all year long. Shop.sportfishingchampionship.com. Who's your favorite team you could represent when you're out there fishing in your neck of the woods, or maybe it's their neck of the woods?
It's very nice gear. I like what they're wearing. I like the designs. They're very unique, very cool stuff you want to wear.
Click on that QR code to find out more as well, but you can go to shop.sportfishingchampionship.com. We're in Key West, the first of 11 regular season events kicking off our 2026 season. Welcome everyone watching on YouTube. Third Coast Renegades leading the Gulf Division, just how they ended the Gulf Division last year with 4 victories and looking to make it a 5 in less than 2 years. See 225 points. That means that they have caught 3 sailfish up to this point. Now, it doesn't always look like this, Peter, where it's calm. Peepers are out trying to spot these fish. When it gets busy, it gets busy. And at times, when you got one, you could find another as well.
That's right, and you see them kind of chill, you know, they're watching, and they got the headsets on so they can hear little things, and obviously the music's not on, which is nice. You get to hear the ambient sounds of sailfish launching.
So next to not moving at all means that kite is up there just dipping those baits into the water, probably at 9:25 this morning. This is how good it got, because they would see another fish as well, but sailfish off in the distance. It's about an hour after we saw the South Florida sails with theirs.
Staying calm and waiting for more fish to show up, watching all the baits, because inevitably, you know, you're going to get another shot. Spinner coming in on the left side there. Garrett Frazier on the stick.
See a lot of Garrett. We're going to see a lot of him. He's
an outdoorsman.
Yeah, if it was my boat, I'd be on that boat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you see the fish launching there, and he's got the spinner there in the left hand, in the left side of your screen there. You want to be, you know, casting, bring it in, casting, bring it in. He just saw something else. He just saw something off the bow. You saw him like eagerly reeling that bait in.
There's
looking forward.
Point tally. What does it take to get the points at the end of the day? Blues, white, stripe. We're not going to see any stripes, are we, Peter?
We're not going to see striped marlin. I have caught blue marlin down there, trolling for blue marlin. I've never caught a white down there. Caught lots of sailfish.
But that is the difference maker, is the blue, right? I mean, there is a question. Does somebody try and catch a 450-point fish if you know they're in the area?
It's you know, I think after you've caught a ton of sailfish, or maybe the sailfish bite turns off completely, you can go out there and troll. There's a spot down there. Everybody knows it. Woods Wall. You troll out there. You know, I remember first day we ever did it, we put the teasers out, and there he comes up on the teaser, and I had the mate hand me my ballyhoo, and I was standing there, and he looks at me, he said, "Good luck, Peter." And I pitched it back, came into the third wave there, a going away bite, raced in, raced out, ate it. About a 350-pounder to start off the Drambuie Marlin tournament way back in the day.
What is it about that area? Because, I mean, you pinpointed that one spot. What is it about that?
Cracks and upwellings. You know, we see it all over the Atlantic coast and the Gulf Coast. There's something different about the area, which is going to hold bait, and then you're going to have those big marlin in there. It's just a known spot, and, you know, you got to fish those known spots. Like, do you fish in the desert, or do you fish at the oasis?
Right. Getting hooked up this morning at about midway through that 9 o'clock hour. Third Coast Renegades, Garrett Frazier. We're going to see Garrett as well as Dylan Frazier this year going to be the second angler, but for the most part they have Garrett listed as that lead angler. It's kind of like what we saw at Third Coast Renegades last year. This boat, although different boat, but this team, you would have one guy that for the predominance of the tournament events, one guy is the one that catches the most of it.
They got Captain Drake, Sparky, Dusty, Dylan, Garrett, and they are covered up, protecting themselves from the sun in those cool jerseys, looking good, and you know, taking their time, waiting for other bites. You know, there's no rush. No rush, you know, it's a give and take. You know, everyone always asks, like, hey, can I tighten the drag? Can I do this? You know, why is it taking line? I mean, that's the give and take. That's 3 pounds of drag on 20-pound test, typically, maybe 5 pounds at max. And they're leading the fish now for 75 points. There you go. 75 points at 9:25 a.m.
What I think is cool is like some of the young guns on this boat actually went to fishing camps from JC Clear back in the day, and now they're competing against JC in the SFC. So just shows you full circle for a lot of these players.
All right, on the board. First fish of the season. Key West Classic. Let's go, baby.
First fish of the season, that would not be the last, and I do see Jason Berthelot hooked up in that center box, in the center square, up in the middle there on the top side.
And that stance tells you that it's something other than a fun fish for me. I feel like it is. You know, they're bumping ahead. Maybe not. They definitely have that strip teaser, holographic, reflective strip teaser. A lot of the guys use that. It's a, you know, fish attractor. You know, the fish are swimming along, they don't see anything, and all of a sudden they see all this shine and a reflection, you know, glistening in the water. They have to come up and take a peek.
So again,
there's the kite falling.
Jacelyn Berthelot and her dad representing the Louisiana Canyons this year.
She's definitely got a good fish on there. And when the kite is falling like that, when the wind picks up too much, you got to let the kite out. It's counterintuitive. You think you want to bring it in, but you definitely want to let it out because the pressure on the kite is too extreme.
Get a new captain with Toby Berthelot. We'll check back in with them on the other side of the break. Jimmy Crochet, cricket, not on board this year, but it looks like Toby's putting him on the fish. We'll find out if it's the right species when we return.
Welcome to Blue Marlin Jewelry, where island elegance meets handcrafted luxury now in the heart of Key West. Since 1996, we've been more than just a jewelry store. We've been a destination for those who seek something meaningful and rare. Inspired by the beauty of the Keys, every piece in our collection tells a story. Visit us in Old Town Key West or explore the collection at bluemarlinjewelry.com. Blue Marlin Jewelry, crafted in the Keys, worn around the world.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
Discover heart-racing adventures, breathtaking views, and one-of-a-kind experiences that can only be found through the SFC experience on Guidesley and Guidesley Pro. Go to Guidesley.com to find your next outdoor experience. Making things simple for the fans, just log on and get hooked up like a tow truck, just like some of these anglers are right now. Looking at the Atlantic Division again, South Florida Sales, 2 already today. Somebody's hooked up.
North Carolina Flare there.
Let's go live on board. Porosos might pour some out at the end of the day if you win this thing. Again,
mahi, got a little mahi on there.
Dorado, little that's lunch or dinner, however you want to look at it. Delicious.
You know,
yes,
if there was a blue marlin around, you bridle that thing up and send it back.
We've seen it. We have seen it on SFC where we're like, okay, that's the fun fish. Might be the winning championship fish, and we'll talk about that as the week and months go on. But again, that fish could pay somebody some extra cash.
I was talking to Chloe earlier, and she told me that she had caught a mahi once down in Key West, and they had a marlin in the area, and they deployed it, and the thing came up, about a 500-pounder, and ate it, went away, and they got the leader and went away jumping, greyhounding. Pretty cool.
That's awesome. And there are some big mahi as well. What's your biggest down there you've caught? 40 plus?
Mahi, probably
they're big. But
44 was the last one I won the top fish with. But there's definitely some 50s and some 60s. Not common, but right now, this time of year, they're starting to cruise around. The big slammers and the big bulls, you know. You don't want to, we've been fooling around with the little ones all winter. This is the time when they grow. You know, they grow 5 pounds a month if they're eating well. So imagine that in 1 year, you know, we're talking 60 pounds.
Yes, that's huge. 2 best friends, the New Jersey Seabirds.
Yeah, they ever did have. They're a wolf pack, you know, they're out in the desert. But the only difference here is they're out in the Gulf of the Atlantic. There's no delineation between the Gulf of the Atlantic. The waters are mixing, Robbie. The teams are mixing. We've got Fonzie meets Laverne and Shirley right here. We've got it all happening in front of us. And the guys are, using those strip teasers on hand crank reels to get them out of the way. And some guys use electrics to get them out of the way in quick fashion. You want to tie something, some kind of float, to the top of those strip teasers to make sure it stays up at a level where it doesn't sink under the boat and captain runs it over.
Hey, we saw, the Seabirds just a moment ago. We're looking at Lights Out Boston now. These are two teams that were battling for the title of the Atlantic Division last year. But you know what? They got along very well, Peter. I think they shared information at times. We've got other teams like Remix and Louisiana Canyons that might be sharing information this time. But whether it's the Seabirds or Lights Out, when you know your buddy's hooked up, you want to be close. You want to be near him.
You know who that looks like, Robbie? I'm sorry to interrupt. That looks like Ross Nason on the Lights Out earlier today.
You know it is. You know it's Ross.
9:22. Well, when everyone's covered up wearing hoods, it's hard to tell. The only guy we're sure of is Texas Lone Stars with white hair.
Good. Blackbird. Bye-bye, Blackbird.
These guys have caught so many billfish over the course of the past 5 months. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I'm looking to see if we had double rod bends there, but no.
It's
like one hooked up. Are they doubled there on the right?
It sure looks like it.
I mean, there's a lot of pressure on that rod, it seems.
I mean, they're both they're not reeling, so they're both pulling drag. We know Nason. That's definitely him at 9:22.
It almost looked like Rob Carmichael for a second that was on that far
There's
right.
Rob Carmichael just stepped into frame there. He's the tall man in the pit.
Well, I just need to determine if we need to cut a line, if we're tangled, what's going on here.
So you just heard what they're talking about there. If you think you're tangled, as soon as you know and you're sure, you have to make the decision to cut one of the lines.
Really?
Yes, because you can't assist the other angler by bringing the fish in. Let's say the fish is hooked with two hooks or tangled in one and hooked with the other.
That's true.
That's
so
how
why don't
it's
you?
always been.
So tangled meaning closer down the line,
twisted. It could be anywhere.
Go over and under before.
Well, no, but then you pass it. But when you get to a tangle and it's coming into the boat, you got to make a decision as to what you're going to do. And sometimes you make the wrong decision. Oh, well, cut yours. I'm sure it's mine, and it was his.
Ross making sure with that sunblock out of there, got to stay protected. Again, this team now labeled as Lights Out Boston. Previously, it was Lights Out New England. We've seen this team catch a multitude of fish. White marlin, it was, 47 back at the Old Bluffs Blue Water Classic. That was one of the greatest events, greatest days in sport.
What a display.
History.
What a display. And you remember we talked to Pat Healy from Viking. He said those are the days, we hope for. And I've only had a couple of those days, but we're going to get back on them. And they've done a lot of that since. It's incredible to have those kind of numbers. You wouldn't think it. I never expected that, and it's just incredible work that they did there. The Seabirds got there late because they were working on the tunas. So they were catching the white marlin, then they raced over after their tunas to get there, and they got there a little late on the bite. So it turned out that Lights Out actually caught more striped marlin than the Seabirds.
And then they knew it each time, and the Lights Out had more crew on board, right? I mean, they had more people to man the rods, if you will. And I think Seabirds might have picked up a person or two for this season just for that reason. And the same thing, too. It never fails. I've got a double on. That's great. Well, they've got a triple. And they were just like, Blaine was going like, son of a gun.
You really need six anglers you need six anglers. And you
really?
Obviously, if you're going to have six on, you really need to make. Look, you can do it with four, and you can make it happen. The captain has to bump the boat in gear, keep things tight for a little bit. But bottom line is, the more anglers you have, the better off you are in a sailfish tournament because they do swim in packs. That's the leader. That's 75 points for Ross Nason on the Lights Out at 9:22 a.m.
Ross with that catch. Remember back again, Ray Rocher.
Thank you, Ray. Yeah, buddy. Good job, man.
Hearing these guys through their inter-air communication, hearing what they have to say.
He was eating you on the way out. Oh my God. Fish of the weekend. He ate you once, and it pulled out. You had some pressure, and it pulled out of his mouth. He ate it, and it pulled out, and that's why I said dump it.
puts them on the board. Again, the more points you have at the end of the day, maybe you win the Atlantic, maybe you win the Gulf, maybe you win the overall, but they are scored separately. We will have an Atlantic leader, we will have a Gulf leader when we end here in 3 days time.
Nice watch. Citizen?
Yeah, Eco Drive. It's powered by light.
Like any light?
Yep.
Headlights?
Yeah.
Sunlight?
Yeah.
What about city lights?
Definitely.
Subway? Neon? Strobe light?
Those two.
Really?
Yeah.
Disco? Underwater?
Yeah.
This light? Spotlight? 10,000 spotlight!
Yeah, any light.
Cool.
Citizen Eco Drive. It is cool. Powered by light for 50 years.
There's yellow.
When the ocean calls, only the bold answer. Out here, it's not about cameras, contracts, or crowds. It's about the fight. When the battle begins, you need a boat that's as relentless as you are.
Nice work, Bill. Jill Paglia, boat number 1, executive decision, day 1.
HCB Yachts, the ultimate sport fishing experience. We deliver the dream.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
SFC returns to one of the most iconic fishing grounds in North America for the Walker's Cay Open, May 15th through the 17th. You can join us Friday and Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern and from noon to 4:30 for extended coverage on Championship Sunday right here on YouTube and ESPN Plus. Again, it's a long tournament season. Kicking off in Key West, finishing up in Cabo San Lucas. So on the map, all the way from the right, all the way to the left, and 2 of these Gulf Division teams, Peter, are looking to move on to Cabo San Lucas.
You know, Robbie, don't you find it apropos that there's a bird on the Freebird?
Makes sense, doesn't it?
I mean, come on. Look at the Renegades. They're standing at attention there. Moving forward from the launcher. Looks like he's getting ready to drop potentially. It looks like he's dropping. He's gonna log it up. Winding, let's see if he comes tight.
First, let's go to look at Louisiana
Why
Canyons.
not?
10:28, Jason and Berthelot. All's quiet, Peter. Look, rising suns. This was earlier today.
This is on the other remix boat.
Yeah,
this
that's
is the
true.
glass tech.
A much smaller boat than they're used to. But look, it's peaceful. You're out flying kites. And we see that Toby is not captaining because that was him right there. So at 10:28, it went from quiet to very busy in a hurry. 10:28 earlier this morning.
JP. Juan Pablo. Mi amigo.
I love your Spanish. Hey, we see her with the big marlin oftentimes. Now we get to see her with the sailfish.
She didn't even break a sweat. She didn't break a sweat doing this stuff. 3-4 pounds of drag as opposed to 30 pounds of drag, 35 pounds of drag.
Yeah, you take me out fishing, I'm like, okay, I need some more. I need to just pour it right into my mouth.
That's right. Maybe get a little helmet. Put 2 magnums on your helmet. You're going to have to reinforce Yeti holders in there.
Now, we do have cameramen on the respective boats, but they also have their cameraman as well for video verification. You can see the camera off there to the right. Also,
360.
If you can't identify it above water, they can throw that down there and into the water and see it as well. Shouldn't be any problem discerning between the fish types here, especially with sailfish.
No, they've already seen it jump. Once you've identified the fish, you're good to go. But you definitely have to keep the camera rolling. That's the key. So that fish has jumped many times already. Nice thing about that glass deck, it's a walk around. They've got bait wells you see on either side, port and starboard, bow, and in the stern. And we've got another fish.
Well, one was earlier, and this is live.
That was the bite we were seeing earlier, and it was a little handle pass over to Garrett, potentially. Or maybe Garrett got his own. We didn't get a chance to see that one, but we definitely saw the bite happen. We saw him drop, come tight, and now we have a fish on.
So Third Coast Renegades looking for their 4th fish. We're assuming it's a sailfish. Put them even further in the lead. And it looks like we did have a wrap of Jacelin's fish there. And that's why they keep the camera rolling as well, right, Peter? I mean, it's not just about identification of the fish, making sure nobody touched the rod or anything or contact before they made it to the eyelet or the leader itself. It's the Third Coast Renegades with their wraps as well. Now, was that a complete catch?
I'm not sure if that was a sailfish.
They lose it. I mean, it's
I guess there was. Catch alert right there.
So that just happened. So I'm assuming as we look at it full screen there, were they able to make it a qualified catch? And we do have an official making sure. So they call it in first and foremost, right? You as an angler have to say, I caught this fish at this time.
You've got to fill out the paperwork, and you've got to sign it at the end of the day. I caught this fish at this time. This was the number of the release, and you have to hand that into the committee boat. That's typically the way it goes. But you see these pros, you know, they're not cheering. They're not up and down. They're ready for the next one, you know?
But it's much like a golf score, right? I mean, you are responsible for your scorecard. And the honor system works so far, but we're going to also have officials, you know, making sure that you are correct in all of your assumptions as well. So it's good to see some activity here. The later part of the day. I got about 10 more minutes here left on YouTube. We'll make a move over to ESPN Plus. Make sure you join us there. But we still got more fishing ahead between the Atlantic and the Gulf at Key West.
Where island elegance meets handcrafted luxury now in the heart of Key West. Since 1996, we've been more than just a jewelry store. We've been a destination for those who seek something meaningful and rare. Inspired by the beauty of the Keys, every piece in our collection tells a story. Visit us in Old Town Key West or explore the collection at BlueMarlinJewelry.com. Blue Marlin Jewelry, crafted in the Keys, worn around the world.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
When the ocean calls, only the bold answer. Out here, it's not about cameras, contracts, or crowds. It's about the fight. When the battle begins, you need a boat that's as relentless as you are.
Nice work, Jill. Jill Paglia, boat number 1, executive decision, day 1.
HCB Yachts, the ultimate sport fishing experience. We deliver the dream.
The Key West Classic is sponsored by Moet. No Rivals. Coast Guard Foundation. And by Exotic Outdoors. Welcome back inside our SFC studios. You can see the weather is really good for not only fishing, but for catching, and we're seeing more and more. We just saw a fish catch just a moment ago. They haven't called it in just yet, but Peter, you're starting to see more and more add up. And you're not going to win. You're not going to take the title of this lone event in day 1, but you sure want to get on a roll heading into day 2 tomorrow.
It's definitely a long road when you have a 3-day tournament. You've got to make sure everything is just right every day. They always say, if you can win a part of the daily every day, you're going to wind up winning the tournament tournament. Consistency, making the shots count, and getting those bites and chasing those fish. Don't be lazy. Don't think they're going to come to you. Sometimes you got to race over and you got to make it happen yourself.
And it's really tight as well. One fish difference. You see the sales, lights out, Seabirds, 3 of the 7 teams with catches from the Atlantic Division. We've got 3 of the 6 teams from the Gulf, but still anybody's ball game today as well. They don't have to have the lines out until 5 p.m. Eastern. Looking in on the Gulf as well, you can see your favorite team, your respective teams with their icons down there in the lower left corner. Black Flags, we have not talked about them. We will talk about them in the ESPN hour. They are literally running around a very, very small boat.
They've got the
31-footer.
They've got the 360-degree deal, and it's been very, very good. You know, down in the Keys, sometimes when it's real calm, that is what it takes. And you can see them using a cluster, a Triton there with the 3 rod holders. In the gunnel, they don't have rocket launchers on that boat, and you know, you fish around the boat. It's really, it really allows you to do a lot.
Yeah, and again, these teams some of them are using boats they're unfamiliar with. A few team members they're unfamiliar with. It's just new to these teams. The West Florida Black Flags on a small boat. I mean, it is 1.5 feet bigger than a bass boat. They're out there in the open ocean.
Robbie, I cut my teeth on a 25-foot boat, and we caught.
You put it to them?
We put it to them. We were winning every amateur division, and we were competing with the big boys way back in 1990.
And as far as mobility, you can do a lot more with a small boat than you can, say, a 60-footer, a big boat, but also harmonics. Some of the bigger boats, those diesels make sounds that the little boats can't.
Yep, but you know, nowadays, guys are using 25-pound leader for sailfish. They're using 3.0, 4.0 circle hooks, really small stuff. Everything is lower profile, smaller profile, and they're racing up on these fish to get the leaders on the center consoles with quad motors up on the bow, and they get those releases really fast. Very different than that of the big sport fish boats backing down.
On the move up there, the Jersey Seabirds. We see them on the move. Remix, one of the teams that we expect with big catches here. Without a catch so far, they can't go back-to-back at the first event in their waters. I expect them to catch something here shortly. Again, in 2 different Remix boats. The other one is the Louisiana Canyons. They've already caught a couple, but again, that's a boat that Remix uses in their services on catching fish throughout the season.
And you see the Rhode Island there, they have the cluster over there in the gunnel. So the angler can sit there with 3 rods and you don't have to stand in the center with a rocket launcher. You have your own little setup over there. It's kind of like you're in your office, your cubicle.
Got a lot to look for. Renegade Sales lead their respective divisions. We are done with YouTube. We are going to move over to ESPN Plus here in just a moment. Yeah, the kites are out. The fish are out. We'll see more catches, live catches as well if we get that chance. Peter, let's do this. Let's re-rate, restack. Top of the hour on ESPN Plus. Make sure to catch us there, and maybe one of these little guys will get eaten by a sailfish.
Built for heat and sun. Designed by experience.
There it goes.
Battle-tested solutions for the fearless. Enetic. Comfort in chaos.
When the ocean calls, only the bold answer. Out here, it's not about cameras, contracts, or crowds. It's about the fight. When the battle begins, you need a boat that's as relentless as you are.
Nice work, Phil. Jill Paglia, boat number 1, executive decision, day 1.
HCB Yachts, the ultimate sport fishing experience. We deliver the dream.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
Nice watch. Citizen?
Yeah, Eco Drive. It's powered by light.
Like any light?
Yep.
Headlights?
Yeah.
Sunlight?
Yeah.
What about city lights?
Definitely.
Subway? Neon? Strobe light?
Those two.
Really?
Yeah.
Disco? Underwater?
Yeah.
This light? Spotlight? 10,000 spotlight!
Yeah. Any light.
Cool.
Citizen Eco Drive. It is cool. Powered by light for 50 years.
There's yellow.
This is an official presentation of Sport Fishing Championship.